Hi, Kasha, Kuba, Yannick, and Fronic. So we're making this video to share our engagement story with you since you asked. So Elijah will start with background information.
Okay. So, a while back, when was that? When we went to Shannon's house, like February.
Yeah, it was late February.
Yeah. I decided that I was going to ask Mr. Finch if he would give us his blessing so that I could ask Lindsey to marry me. And it was funny, we did the day that I asked him, we both went to her friend's house to watch her little baby so that her friend could like do some chores because they were having like a party and everything. And so like I was planning that day to call him, but I had like kind of like forgotten that I was going with her to her friend's house. So like when we were like on like when she texted me, she was like, "You ready to go?" I was like, "Oh." I've got to like figure out a way to like come up with an excuse to like go out and make a phone call. So I just said that I had to make an important phone call, and so I would go out to the car. So she was watching the kid by herself, and I was out in the car, and I like called him and
My friend Shannon's house is like in the middle of nowhere. So did you have bad reception?
Yeah, it was like a struggle, like keeping him on the line the whole time and everything. But anyway, we were talking. And I was just basically, telling him all the things, like, about Lindsey that I love and, like, what I wanted to be for her, like, in the future and everything. And you know me, I'm pretty talkative, so it took me a while to actually ask the question. But if I'm talkative, then her dad is, like, uber talkative. So, like, I started, like, once I finished, he, like, had his whole little speech that he gave me.
My dad's just way too descriptive and elaborative.
Yeah, he was like, and we're very proud of you, how you and Lindsey like have taken your faith seriously and all this and everything, and so eventually, after we both gave our long speeches and everything, he said that it would be an honor to have me as part of their family, and that we both had his blessing and Mrs. Finch's blessing as well. So then, over spring break, which was
first week of March.
Yeah, early March. Over spring break, after that, I called my parents and told them and everything, and we were like super happy and all that. But then we planned on making further plans over spring break, and what our plan was to basically just maybe go looking for rings. Like that's one thing that I wanted to do with Mom over spring break. And one thing that's really cool is that my cousin's brother is a jeweler, and so we were like, oh well, let's go to his shop, and maybe he'll like give us a discount on a ring, and we can just like look and make some plans and everything. So we went and we were looking at these different rings, and they were asking me what styles I liked and what I thought Lindsey would like and everything, and eventually we came up with this bad boy.
Oh yeah. Let's see.
And they were able to give me like that diamond and that band. It's like a really like I picked out the diamond and the band separately, and I wasn't very positive that I was going to be able to afford it because it's like a really special diamond, like a specific cut. It's a pear cut and everything, and then the band was expensive too, so I was like worried about it. But then they were very nice and they gave us a really good price for it and everything, and they also made a deal. My older brother just got engaged recently as well, and that same outing we were designing his ring for him because he's in L.A. in California, so we were like sending him pictures of different things that he would like and like trying to pick out what I would like and everything, and so they gave us a dual package deal on both of them, so that was like that was super fun. Anyway, okay. So,
now to get to the story.
Yes.
Okay, so the Saturday before Easter, what was it? April 15th?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so April 15th. So we were at their house for Easter break. We had about 4 days for break. And we were at their house because it's a lot closer than my house, so I spend holidays with his family. And I sleep in Regina's room because she has an extra bed in there. And Regina and I woke up on Saturday. It was probably like, I don't know, 10 o'clock in the morning, and we were going to the Easter Vigil Mass that night at like 8 o'clock or something, at 8 p.m. And we both had our special Easter dresses or outfits, and
I wasn't allowed to see her outfit.
Mine was a surprise because it was new. And so Regina says, I'm just going to put on my Easter Mass outfit right now because why not? And I was thinking, well, I don't want to wear my nice outfit all day, but I guess if she is, I will too. And so we both had like our nice, our Easter outfits on, and that was a whole ploy.
It was this dress, right?
Oh, this dress was part of my Easter outfit, actually. But it was a whole ploy to get me to put on nice clothes for when he proposed later that day.
And that had to be the day, too, because, we made some other plans, which you'll hear about later.
Okay, and so we got dressed, and then at about 11 o'clock, his mom asked if we could go to his grandparents' house and pick up like a little basket of food because there was a food blessing at the church nearby at 12 o'clock. So it was 11 o'clock, and we went to the grandparents' house and picked up their food, brought it back to their house, and then his parents left to go to the food blessing, and we stayed at the house. And it was kind of like a relaxing kind of day, like we weren't really doing much. And I had my dress on, and I just wanted to relax and be in comfortable clothes. So I go and I put my pajamas on, which totally ruined the whole
plan to get her in a nice outfit.
Yeah, so I go to put my pajamas back on, and then I also did some egg decorating, and we were going to be doing cleaning and stuff. So I was like, I don't want to get my dress dirty or anything, so I'm just going to put my comfortable clothes on. So I put my pajamas back on, and I'm decorating an egg. And like 10 minutes later, his parents come back, and his mom's in the kitchen, and I'm in the other room decorating an egg, and I hear that there's a conversation going on, but I wasn't really paying attention, but she goes, "Oh, shoot, I forgot the vinegar." And so she's like, "Elijah, come here." And so Elijah goes into the kitchen.
This whole conversation was fabricated.
It was all a fake conversation. It was all played out. And so she said, "Elijah, come here." So he goes into the kitchen, and she says, "Do you know what kind of vinegar I need to dye the eggs?" And he goes, "Yeah." And she goes, And he goes, "I mean, no." And so she walks into the room that I'm in, and she says, "Lindsey, do you know what kind of vinegar we need?" Hey. She goes, "Lindsey, do you know what kind of vinegar we need to dye the eggs?" And I said, "Yeah, just plain white vinegar." And she was like, "Thank you." She goes, "Will you go with Elijah to the store to get vinegar? Because he doesn't know what kind of vinegar to get." And so I was a little bit frustrated that he didn't know what kind of vinegar to get, because it's just plain white vinegar. And so I was like...
Meanwhile, literally everyone in the house knows that this is a complete fake errand that we're getting sent on. And, so everybody else in the house except Lindsey is trying not to laugh because of how Mom and I were pretending to make this fake conversation and everything.
Okay.
So we're trying to keep straight faces while she's getting frustrated.
So at this point I'm frustrated for two reasons, because I just put my pajamas on, which means I would have to go change to go out to the store, because I'm not going to go to the store in my pajamas.
Obviously.
And two, because he didn't know what kind of vinegar to get. And so I go, and I'm like, okay, well, I gotta throw clothes on now. So I go to the room, and I just threw jeans and a t-shirt on, because we were just going to the store, supposedly. Mm-hmm. So we leave, and we go to the store, which is about 5 minutes from his house. And we get there, we find the vinegar, and he calls his mom, and he says, "Hey, Mom, we found the vinegar. How much do you need?" And she said, "Oh, I found vinegar in the basement." And so he looks at me, he goes, "Oh, she found some vinegar in the basement." And so I was like, great, of course she did. And so she's like, but just get a head of lettuce and, yeah, I'll just get a head of lettuce. That's all I need. So we get a head of lettuce, and he says, okay, well, you know, we'll get the lettuce, and then we might stop at the lake for a little bit, and then we'll be home after that. And there's this big lake called Lake Ontario.
This is what happened. I said that. I was like, so... we might stop.
Oh, yeah.
We might stop at the
I'm
lake.
I'm gonna say that. And so he's on the phone, right? And so, but I was saying there's a lake, a really pretty lake, Lake Ontario, about 10 minutes from his house, but it was 5 minutes from the store that we were at. And we go there, like every time we're at his house, pretty much we go and we just go to the lake because it has a pretty view and everything. So there was nothing suspicious about this, mind you. So he's on the phone and he says, oh yeah, we might stop by the lake, so we'll be home after. And I look at him and I said,
well, why are we stopping at the lake?
Why are we going to the lake? Because it was pouring rain outside.
It was raining the whole day.
So I was like, honey, why are we going to the lake? And he was like, don't worry about it. We'll just go to the lake. And he's like, okay, we'll be home after that. And he hangs up the phone. And we get in the car and we're driving to the lake. And I said, honey, why are we going to the lake? It's pouring rain. And he was like, well, I want to see, like, it'll probably look really cool with the rain falling on the water. And
I was struggling to come up with a reason.
I was like, okay. So I was, like, really annoyed at this point because I had to get out of my pajamas. He didn't know what kind of vinegar to get. We didn't end up needing the vinegar anyways. He wanted to go to the lake in the pouring rain. So
then, like, when we were about, like, 30 seconds away from the lake, I was like, well, if you really don't want to go...
Yeah, he goes, we don't have to go if you really don't want to.
I was bluffing at that point because that needed to be when it happened.
And I was like, we're pretty much already here. Let's just go. We'll just make it quick. And so we pull up to the lake, and there's a little pier that kind of goes out over the lake, and it's still raining. And he goes, yeah, maybe we can just walk out on the pier. And I was like, wait, I thought we were just... like gonna sit in the car and look at the lake. Why we're gonna get soaked if we go out. And he's like, well, that's why we have an umbrella. And I was like, fine, all right, let's just go. Let's go. So I was not having it at this point.
She was making a sacrifice for her boyfriend.
Yeah, and so we get out, and there was this little gazebo, so like a little wooden hut, kind of like on the grass area overlooking the lake. And he was like, oh, perfect, a little gazebo, so we'll be sheltered from the rain.
She loves gazebos.
And I love gazebos. And so we go and we stand under the gazebo, and we're kind of like hugging, and I have my head on his chest. And earlier that day, he had complained about like really bad chest pain.
Yeah, it was
like
weird.
near his heart, kind of like under his arm a little bit. Mm-hmm. And so that had like worried me earlier that day. And so when we were standing there under the gazebo and I had my head on his chest, his heart was pounding really fast. And I was like, oh my gosh, he didn't mention that to me when he brought up his chest pain. And I was like, I hope he's not having a heart attack or something. And so I completely thought it was related to the chest pain he had earlier. So keep in mind, at this point, I have no clue. Not suspicious whatsoever, and I'm just frustrated. But we're standing there, and I've got my head on his chest, and his heart's beating really fast, and he starts saying really nice things, and his voice is a little bit shaky. And he said, and this is a really special Easter. And I said, oh yeah, it's really special because we haven't had an Easter together before. Because the previous Easter, I was at his house, but he wasn't there.
Because I had to stay here for work.
He had to stay on campus.
And then the Easter before, she went home for Easter.
So we hadn't spent an Easter together. Yeah. Like, actually together. And so...
She's like, oh yeah, it's our first Easter.
So because it's a really special Easter for us. And I was like, yeah, because it's our first Easter together. And he said, and he goes... Yeah, but I also have like a special Easter present for you. And so he kind of was reaching in his pocket, and I thought he was going to pull out like a pretty necklace or, I don't know, it's just like some little Easter gift or something. And he gets down on one knee and pulls out the little ring box, which also had a little light on the inside to shine on the ring. And asked me to marry him, and I was just shocked.
Yeah.
I was like, honey! And I was just crying.
She did not see it coming. We definitely pulled a fast one.
Yeah, so I was just crying.
I asked her, I was like, wait, when did you think I was going to do it? You were like, I don't know, a year from now?
Well, I thought it was going to be next semester, like later this year or something. But anyway, so I was like, and then I was all, why didn't you make me put nice clothes back on? So I was all mad that I wasn't wearing nice clothes. And I was like, I'm sorry for being a jerk. And I was just mad at you the whole time. But it worked out really well. And it was perfect.
Okay, and then when we got back in the car and we talked for a while, she wanted to hear about all the details.
I wanted to hear everything when he talked to my dad, the ring, who knew and everything.
And so then one thing I said before we left was, I just wish that your family could have been here. But little did she know that we had contacted her big sister, who her family lives in San Diego, but her sister goes to school in California, but her sister goes to school in Dallas, Texas, which is a lot closer. So I had talked to her sister, asking her opinion on how I should propose to her and everything and all that. And she was like, oh man, I wish I could be there. And she was like, wait, maybe I can be there. And so we ended up flying her out as a complete surprise to Lindsey. So right before we left to go back home, I texted home and was like, is Avery there yet? Because her big sister Avery had just gotten in on a flight, and I was waiting for her to be home so that when we got back, it would be a surprise right when we got home. And so I got the text back that yes, she was there. And so I was like, oh, I just wish your family could have been here.
Yeah, and then we left the lake and came back to his house. So it was only a 10-minute drive. And we walk up, and the front door has little pink streamers and decorations and little hearts and drawings of us on the door and everything. So that was really cute.
Elijah and Lindsey.
Oh yeah, little Elijah and Lindsey hearts. And then we walked in, and everyone was crowded around the front door with little noise makers and little streamers and poppers and cheering and everything. And I was just crying and hugging everybody. And then suddenly my sister walks out of the other room. And I was like, what the heck are you doing here? So I was very shocked. It was a day full of surprises and lies.
We tried so hard to get her in a nice outfit.
Yep, didn't work. It's the only part of the plan that fell through.
Okay, I thought the outfit that she wore was nice. It was jeans and a nice long sleeve t-shirt. She makes it sound like she was dressed as a bum on the streets. So, anyway, that's our story. And then Mom and Dad gave us this book, which we've been reading.
It's called Your Love Story.
It's about,
a guide to engagement and marriage.
Yeah. And it's, it's really good. It, talks about all the, the things that, you don't really hear about, that, are important to know and everything. How to prepare for marriage, but then also how to live marriage once you are married and everything. Mm-hmm. And so ever since then, we've been, having little dates where we talk about what we want to do, how we want to send out invitations. We want to make a lot of our own stuff for the wedding.
Yes, we want to make a lot of the dedecorations, a lot of the invitations we want to make. We've been talking a lot about
music and stuff.
Yeah, music and little details and figuring out
where it's going to be.
Yeah, well, it's going to be in California, probably August of next year. Mm-hmm. So in a year and 4 months from now. It'll be in California. We'll have the wedding and reception in California, and then we'll probably go on our honeymoon for a couple weeks, and then have a reception in Buffalo, where he's from, in New York.
Which is probably where we're going to live for the first bit of our marriage,
probably live
because I have a job there and everything.
Yeah. So yeah. Did we leave anything out?
I don't think so. I think if you have any questions, we'd be happy to send you another video. And once the video of us coming in, because my brother took a video of us as we came in the front door after we got home, and it's a really nice video. So we'll we'll send you that if I can get that from my brother later. But if you have any questions, we'll be happy to answer them.
And Dr. Kasha, I will send you pictures of things that I have in mind.
Oh, yeah.
Like
a
wedding dress and shoes and stuff, because it's very exciting. So, yeah.
Okay, that's our story.
Well,
Sorry it took so long. We've been busy and everything.
20 minutes. Okay. Yeah, so we'll send you an invitation, of course, and we hope you can make it. August of next year, put it on your calendar.
And say hi to those 2 little boys of yours.
Yep. All right.
All right. We love and miss you, and we'll see you soon, hopefully.
Bye.
Bye-bye.